Hi there, it's Rebecca, and this is Throwback Thursday. I'm going to ask you a question. Have you had trouble manifesting? I know it's tricky, but you really can manifest your heart's desire if you know the secrets. And I'm going to tell you 6 secrets today to manifesting. First of all, you have to be clear on what your intention is. If it's vague, you're going to get very vague results, maybe no results. You have to have a clear intention. Yes, you really, really want this thing that you want to manifest. It's a burning desire. And once you get that under your belt, you can go on to beginning to align your body, your mind, and your spirit so that you can achieve your manifestation. Now, how do you do that? Well, you need to really feel in your mind and your body that you're living whatever it is that you choose to become. Many times I've wanted to move. So as I was going to sleep in the bed that I was in the house that I was in, that I wanted to move from, I would feel myself in a different environment. And I would just feel like I was already living in that house that I was going to build or that apartment that I was going to live in the mansion. I've told you that story, how I manifested a beautiful little apartment in a mansion because that was how I wanted to live after I sold that house that I built. When I was building the house, as I was falling asleep at night, before I had even found where I was going to build it or anything, I just would walk through this house that I had imagined in my imagination I was building. And it all turned out that way. When I was on my way to Hawaii to work out of that base temporary duty, I just felt like I was going to find the perfect place to live. As soon as I got off the airplane, I walked into the in-flight office and they said, "Oh, there's a nice little 3-bedroom house right here on Oahu that you can rent." So I had 2 roommates. Then the three of us rented this little 3-bedroom house. It worked out perfectly. Now, the third thing is your belief and your identity. These are key because it's not what you're wishing for. It's not what you're thinking about. It's what you are actually believing and being. When you are being that person who absolutely is moving to this new place or is absolutely stepping into this career that you've always wanted. I did that to become a flight attendant. I got rejected by 2 airlines before I got hired by 2 airlines. And I'm telling you right now, many people give up. I can't tell you how many people I have met in my life, mostly women who have said to me, "Oh, I really wanted to do that, but I got rejected by an airline," or "I ended up getting married." And, back in the 60s, you couldn't be married. I mean, it sounds crazy now, but that's the way it was. So if you persist on whatever that dream is that you have, you will manifest it, but you have to be it. You have to feel like you are it. And even if you get rejection, you just dismiss it because you know what? Usually it doesn't mean anything. Doors open when you walk in as being who you want to be. You will find that people pay attention. Um, and then you have to say things to yourself every day. I use the mirror technique that Louise Hay taught me, how to look in the mirror and say things like, "I am powerful. I am successful. I am happy." First, you need to start telling yourself that you love yourself, because if you don't love who you are, if you've got blocks about that, you kind of keep attracting not such a good version of the life you want, because you have to really love your intentions and love what you're manifesting and love yourself. So when you look in the mirror and you say, "I am magnetic, I am powerful, I am so happy, I am always manifesting exactly what I need to experience in my life," And it's always working out in the best way possible. Sometimes we don't know how things will work out, but we realize in hindsight that if it had worked out the way we had first imagined it, it might not have been such a good deal. Um, our higher self has a way of figuring out how to bring us exactly what we need when we need it. Also, number 4, you want to take inspired action and take it now. Don't wait. A lot of people think they can just sit on their couch or lie in their bed and manifest. Well, that's a good way to get that vibration going. But then when you get those intuitive feelings to call a certain person or take action, that's important. I remember one time I was giving a seminar at a very high-end spa that was being built. It was still under construction, so I was giving my seminar, little taste of it to the employees so they could, and many of them had tremendous results. One woman, called me the next day. She said, "That's the first night I've had a good night's sleep in years. Thank you." Because I taught them how to get to level and relax and it wasn't a long workshop. It was very short. But the fellow who was in charge of the spa that was at this place told me his secret to success. And he had traveled all over the country working at very, very high-end spas where people come and pay mega bucks to have the experience. And he said his secret was whenever he had an intuitive feeling to make a phone call, take a phone call, check something out, he did it right there on the spot. He didn't hesitate. And he found that served him very well to just keep moving ahead and having incredible experiences. He really did. He had come from California, where he worked in a very, very successful top name spa, to the East Coast, where one was being built. And he was a very cool guy. I enjoyed talking to him because he had that positive attitude. And number 5, detachment or trust is very, very important. Detachment and trust. You must trust that the universe knows exactly how to bring you what you want, what your desire is. And if you trust that it will work out, it will. I'll tell you a secret. If you want to manifest instantaneously, like Sai Baba, Yogananda could do it probably. Jesus certainly could do it. He turned water into wine, fish and loaves of bread, just a few, fed the multitude. He was able to multiply. And how could they do that? Because they didn't have any blocks. If you've got just a tiny, tiny bit of doubt in your consciousness that you cannot do these things because it's just too crazy to even imagine manipulating the 3-dimensional world, you won't be able to do it. But you can still manifest. It's just that it takes a bit longer. Now, if you get rid of every single ounce of block and you become a master teacher, manifester, like that, you can manifest instantaneously. That is materialization. It's not even manifestation anymore. You're materializing out of thin air. People can do that. And, there's always been people that could do it, but that's not really necessary. If you want to just manifest something in the 3-dimensional world that will bring you more alignment, more peace, more harmony, you still have to work on your character to make it happen in a very, very good way, because it needs to be a win-win situation. Sure, you can go out and rip people off, but who wants to do that and build up all that negative energy that eventually comes back to bite you? Because whatever you're putting out, you're going to get back. You're like a fountain. If you're putting out dirty water is just going to keep recycling. If it's beautiful, pure, spiritual energy that you're trying to manifest in the world, and you want to help the planet, you'll get it back. You will get it back in spades. It may take a delayed reaction on the part of the universe to bring it to you because it needs to line things up properly. Number 5, that was detachment and trust. Number 6 is gratitude. You have to have gratitude in order to be a good manifester, because every time you say thank you and you're grateful for what you have, and you ask as if you've already received, and you're grateful that you know that your manifestation is on its way, be grateful, and then it unblocks and it brings it to you much more effortlessly. Gratitude is very, very important. And you should be grateful all the time. It's a vibration, it's a frequency, it's a high frequency. If you're constantly acting like a Debbie Downer, not expecting anything good to ever happen to you or to anybody else, you're blocking. So the 6 points that you want to go over in order to be a good manifester, I'll just go through them quickly. Clear intention, number 1. Number 2, you must be aligned with your body, your mind, and your spirit with the right frequency, feeling as if you've already received it. Assume the attitude of the wish fulfilled, like Neville Goddard says. Number 3, your belief and identity is very important, because what you are being is what you believe. And be that person that is achieving or attracting or accepting whatever it is that you're wishing to desire. Take inspired action. Action is very important, and it will feel effortless if it's inspired. You'll just know the next thing and the next thing and the next thing to do. And detachment and trust. You need to let it go. Let it go. Don't go around, commiserating over whether or not you're going to get it. Just let it go. Trust that the universe is working on your behalf to go out and make it happen after you've done the work. Gratitude and the frequency are very, very key to manifesting. So be grateful for everything that you have already in your life, and it will show up much, much sooner. So you're always manifesting. It's just that you need to do it with intention. Why not? Why not write these things down and work on yourself with intention? Because you're manifesting by default, whether you know it or not. That's how we live in this three-dimensional world. Wherever our energy goes, that's what's happening to us. So I would love to guide you if you think you need some more help. And just go to my website, RebeccaTripp.com, to find out. I've got some really great books out there on manifesting that you can check out. They're on Amazon. And if you look on my website, RebeccaTripp.com, you'll be able to see what they are. And realize that you are not stuck. You are just one step away from being unstoppable. Thank you and good luck.